Meanwhile, Kamala Harris is doing the same. Politico tells us that Harris may come back to politics. What? Why? For what? She could run again for president. Yeah. Or California governor. Okay, now that would be a gimme. That would be a shoo-in. But would she go be the governor of California? That's fine. California, good luck. Kamala Harris has been lying low since her defeat. And we were asking this last week. Where the hell is she? Anybody remember Kamala Harris? How do you say her name again? We all forgot. She's unwinding with family and senior aides in Hawaii before heading back to the Capitol. But privately, the VP has been instructing advisors and allies to keep her options open, whether for a possible 2028 presidential run or even to run for governor in her home state of California in 2 years. As Harris has repeated in phone calls, she says, quote, "I'm staying in the fight." She's expected to explore those and other possible paths forward with family members over the break. That's according to 5 people familiar with her inner circle. Man, everybody's talking, who were granted anonymity. Her deliberations follow an extraordinary 4 months in which Harris went from Joe's running mate to the top of the ticket before falling flat. Oh yeah, Tim Walz. What happened to him? She doesn't have to decide if she wants to run for something again in the next 6 months, someone said. The natural thing to do would be to set up some type of entity, give her the opportunity to travel and give speeches and preserve her political relationships, whatever that means. Nobody likes her anymore because she lost so badly. And it wasn't even competitive. It wasn't even close. Most immediately, Harris and her advisors are working to define how and when she'll speak out against Trump. Closing out her term as VP, she's set to preside over the certifying of the election. Oh, it's going to be great. Then appear to the once and future president's inauguration on January 20th. There will be a desire to hear her voice. There won't be a vacuum for long. Yeah. At the same time, Harris and her husband, Backhand Doug, will have a long checklist to plow through before they leave the Naval Observatory for good. They have to decide whether they'll take up permanent residence at their home in LA or somewhere else. No matter where Harris and her family live, some say we're concerned about her safety because her Secret Service protection is going to expire. That's all right. She's going to be okay because I'm sure she'll have private security, first of all. But she's in California. If she goes back to California, they'll arm her up probably. It will be the first time in 2 decades that the former senator and career prosecutor will be out of public office. That means she'll be standing up a personal office and nurturing her massive online presence. Does she have a massive online presence? She had that one weird X account. Donna Brazil said, you just got to let them marinate in their own success, their own failures, or their own mistakes. Just let her marinate. But then Al Gore went and remember Al Gore, he reinvented himself as the climate change guy, made tons of money off that scam. Brazil recalled how Gore was given months before people demanded an answer to his next moves. While other Democrats have lost presidential races and been forced to regroup, none in the modern era inherited the nomination roughly 100 days before the election. Harris is 60, she's young. Others think maybe the governorship. Good news, according to her, is that her standing in the party increased the longer that she ran her short campaign, which is a rare thing. So in California, Newsom is termed out, which is why people are thinking he will run for president. If she opts not to run for president in 28, the earliest clues about her political future could come around whether she wants to succeed Newsom. Her office pushed back strongly at that time, but the mere idea of running California has frozen the fields. While there's disagreement among people who know Harris about what office she can run for, there's consensus she probably can't do both, either governor or president. She's not going to run for president again. She got obliterated in the primaries the first time, lost to Trump the second time, and they're going to give it to her again. She'll flame out in the primaries again, so she won't do it. Same reason Hillary didn't do it. The calendar alone would make that difficult. With 2028 gearing up immediately after the midterms, Harris confidants also point to the governor, to the demand on a governor's time. And if she doesn't run for governor, she's going to have to consider the cost of staying out of the race. Both Senate seats will be filled by foreseeable people, Alex Padilla and Shifty Schiff. Advisors and other aides conceded that a gubernatorial run would almost certainly clear the field of serious challengers. Look, California, they can have her, and she can run their state into the ground like she did in America. But as long as she's out of federal electoral politics, that's fine for me. Now, Bill Maher says he's not going to pre-hate President Trump like the rest of the Democratic Party does. They hate Trump for the sake of hating Trump because I think in many ways it gives them an identity that they don't otherwise have. But Bill Maher's not going to do it because he does actually have an identity. says, let's see what the disruptors can do. Isn't that a good thing? Don't the Democrats want less corruption, less bloat, less bureaucracy in our government? Why do they want the Pentagon to not know where trillions of dollars are? Like, can we figure that out? Can we all agree on those things? I think so, but maybe not. Real-time host Bill Maher vowed that he's not going to pre-hate Trump. They're calling themselves the disruptors, Maher said. The country does need disrupting. The country needs a colonic and a slap in the face so bad. Yeah. Now, this is not what I would choose to administer, not who I would choose to administer the colonic, a colon cleanse, but it's likely that the bureaucracy, but it's not like the bureaucracy isn't bloated. It's not like the debt isn't 36 trillion. It's not like there aren't thousands of regulations that stop people from living their lives. There's woke in the military, whatever they're going after. I'm not going to pre-hate anything. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot more people who are, I'm sorry, this is the tab that I should have been sharing. A lot more people who are going to be on this team. So Bill Maher says, let's see what happens. Later in the conversation, Maher conceded that Trump was correct in his assessment of how to resolve these things. It just looks like everybody's coming on board with the idea. I hate to admit it. Trump said at the beginning, it's going to be a negotiated settlement. Obviously, it was always going to be. Marco Rubio was saying he's going to be Secretary of State. And I feel like that they are losing the war, Ukraine, and they're noble. We support them, certainly in spirit. Should we do it, though, as we have been? Good questions, Mike. No, this is Mike. This is Mike Tyson. Good questions, Bill. He went on to compare the ongoing war last week to Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. I remember a week ago as I was leaving, everyone was talking about it, but then it was a letdown. So that's happening. Meanwhile, the Trump transition is getting high marks with Americans. CBS News poll says it's up to 59% approval on this transition. People are liking what they're seeing. And I saw some lefties screaming about Matt Gaetz. Actually, I saw screaming about that was Chris Christie's. Trump wasted all of his political clout on Matt Gaetz and he failed and blah, blah, blah. No, he didn't. Trump is swinging for the fences. Matt Gaetz didn't get through. That's all right. It's going to be one right behind him called Pam Bondi. He's going to be great. Trump's handling of presidential transition, 51%. Republicans are optimistic. Democrats are scared. Oh, no. Democrats, 50% scared. You can see 35% are concerned. 11% are optimistic. Good. We're glad for these 15% of people who are excited and optimistic. It's going to be great. Election of Trump makes you now Democrats won't motivate you either way, motivated to oppose him. So less than half of Democrats are motivated to oppose Trump. 10% supporting him, 46 meh, lukewarm, 44% say we're going to oppose him. Not good. They do think that the economy will do better. 44% say it'll go down. 35% say it'll go up. 21% say it won't change. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the grocery store prices, if that changes quickly or not. But so far, looking pretty good. Selection of Rubio. Even Democrats, 44% of Democrats say that Rubio was a good pick. Trump, 75% say he was a good choice. I've got my concerns about Rubio. I think that Rubio is very much part of the entity, part of the institution of governance. He's part of the apparatus. But I think he's a much more competent person than Blinken is. And I think that his word and as a representative of Trump, he'll have good clout out there on the world stage. And if Trump's making the decisions, not Rubio making the decisions, that's a good thing. RFK Jr., Democrats, 47% say he was a good pick, 80% of Trump voters. That's crazy. So Democrats used to love RFK Jr., but now because he's on Team Trump, they're not on board with that. Democrats haven't heard enough about Pete Hegseth. Trump voters, 64% like him. Tulsi Gabbard for DNI. Trump, 71%. Liberals don't like that. That's also funny because she was also formerly a Democrat. And Trump's appointing people who will speak their minds. The Republicans and Democrats agree, have experience. They agree on that. So overall, good stuff. Democrats are just exhausted at the victory from the Republicans. The resistance is failing. Trump's transition moving forward full steam ahead. And even liberal Democrats are marrying conspiracy theorists who are going to convert them to the right side. Good news out there in America. All right.